the secret answer to create complete and full confidence. And I'm going to back this up with evidence and scientific studies that verify and prove everything I'm saying in this video. So stay with me. And I'm also going to provide evidence of why it's not working for you and why everything you have tried has not worked for you right now. And I'm specifically going to give an example of a false belief that everybody on this planet has utilized and believed in, and for you, why it's preventing you from having full confidence. So real quickly, the answer to experiencing absolute complete confidence is being able to connect to your unconditional love. And why it hasn't worked for you is because we all of humanity has false beliefs that simply are preventing them from accessing their full and complete unconditional love within us. And specifically, if you're struggling with confidence, I'm going to share a false belief that you absolutely have chosen, and it's one that I chose for nearly my entire life until I figured out these answers. And so the one false belief that you absolutely are choosing, if you're not experiencing full confidence, if you're feeling insecure like I did, this is absolutely a false belief, one of them that you certainly do have. And so there absolutely are two false beliefs that you absolutely are utilizing and following every day with certainty. If you don't have a complete confidence, I promise you that you do have these two false beliefs, and I absolutely did until I learned how to remove them. So let me give those two false beliefs in a moment. First, I want to define what a false belief is. A false belief is simply any belief based in fear or doubt regarding some aspect of yourself. That is all it is. And because of having that false belief, you are absolutely limiting and blocking access to your unconditional love on that topic, which is in the form of experiencing confidence. But it also, when we have false beliefs, it's blocking our unconditional love, which is also, bliss, joy, happiness, inner peace. The truth, again, is accessing the unconditional love. And what we have to do is identify the full and complete false belief. In this case, it's two false beliefs that are blocking you from accessing your confidence. And we have to identify them in detail at their core and base level, the complete false belief, and each of them, so that you can access your unconditional love. Think of it as a key in a door. The lock in the door is the false belief, and opening the door is opening the door to your unconditional love. And the key is the absolute truth regarding that false belief that comes from unconditional love. This is an absolute certainty. And so you have to identify the complete and full false belief. And if there are a few or several false beliefs, you have to identify all of them completely in detail so that you can identify the answer in complete detail for each false belief. And the key, if you only have half of the false belief, you're only going to have half of the answer. And that is like having half a key that has been made to unlock the lock. If that key is only halfway been made for that lock, it's not going to unlock the lock, right? It's exactly the same with this answer. You have to have the complete answer from unconditional love to remove that false belief. And in this case, it's two false beliefs. Sometimes it can be even more to unlock the door completely. So each false belief, think of it as an additional lock on the door. You might have one complete false belief that you know, but if you don't have the key to the second lock, the door still doesn't open. And it is that simple, I promise you. So let me identify the two false beliefs. The one is that you believe that you are unlikable in some way, that other people do not like you in some way, or that they are going to view you in some way that is unwanted, in some negative way, so that you have a false belief that others are going to judge you in some way or criticize you or not like you. There is a false belief in something in regards to how others are going to not like you. And ultimately what that means is that you on a base and root level, believe that you are unlikable in some regard with absolute certainty. And you're believing that you can only experience your confidence, but also your happiness and joy and everything else if those other people like you, essentially dependent on everybody liking you. And that's why you're not experiencing that confidence. The absolute truth to this false belief is, first, liking yourself fully, not just liking yourself, unconditionally, beginning to unconditionally love yourself fully in every part of yourself. Even if there's something that you might want to improve upon, it's loving that part of you right now too, not judging it and not being attached to what other people are going to say, and realizing that you can begin experiencing your unconditional love fully in this moment, that it's not dependent on others liking you or approving of you. So that is critical. And this first most important part is loving yourself, beginning to love and practicing every day, unconditionally loving every part of you and not judging any part as far as anything that you want to improve upon in yourself. Loving all of those parts as well, that they are amazing even as they are right now, and loving every part of you fully and completely. Simply knowing that your happiness and joy, including confidence, is not dependent on what other people say or whether they approve of you or not. And so the first false belief is simply understanding and knowing that you must begin loving yourself unconditionally and just loving every aspect of yourself, every facet of yourself, even the parts that you intend to improve or want to improve, loving them exactly where you are in yourself fully, everything about you, having unconditional love and realizing every part of you is amazing. All of that, and beginning to love the aspects of you that you may not have loved previously. And I can tell you, this false belief I had developed when I was a child. And so it was so painful for me that because I felt that others wouldn't like me, that they would think of me as a loser and they would make fun of me and all this other stuff. What it really meant was that's how I viewed myself. I didn't view myself as likable, even though I didn't realize it, at the age of 13 and older. I didn't like myself, and I thought of myself as a loser, even though I didn't realize that at the time and never said that consciously to myself. I was only believing other people would think those things about me because that is how I viewed myself. It is certainly true. And so all I had to do was not just like myself, I just began unconditionally loving myself, every part of myself, everything, even the parts that I wanted to improve. I loved every part of me as I was, beginning from that moment forward. And it literally was life-changing, and it removed that false belief. And the other false belief that I have, that you certainly absolutely have, if you're feeling insecure and not having full confidence. So the second false belief is that you have a false belief that you need the approval of other people in order for you to feel your happiness and joy and inner peace and all of that amazing stuff. And the reality is, the absolute truth is, for you to experience your joy and your happiness and fulfillment and meaning and purpose, it's not dependent on anybody outside of yourself in any way. And so you just, by connecting to the first answer, which is just loving yourself fully, unconditionally, every part of you to the fullness as you begin practicing this. And that as you will, and you certainly will begin immediately experiencing joy and happiness. And as you connect to that, along with that, you can continue feeling all the happiness and joy and inner peace and bliss even, and it's not dependent on anyone else, then the confidence is just going to explode from you, and it's going to grow exponentially immediately. And it is absolutely certain, if you practice these two with certainty, you will begin feeling absolute amazing confidence in these areas. So it's just simply practicing loving yourself unconditionally, every part of you, and just think back to any part of you, whether as a child or as an adult now, that you have not liked about yourselves, and loving every part of yourself and not judging yourself in any way, but truly loving every part of you as you are now. And then realizing that you are experiencing your happiness and joy and inner peace and bliss, and it's not dependent on what anyone else thinks of you in any way. And so if you have a desire to live in joy and bliss, even complete inner peace, to be living your passions in every moment, to have fulfillment and meaning and purpose in every moment of every day of your life, if this is truly a desire of yours, then I have created two of the most amazing programs on the planet. One is an 8-week course. It is absolutely immersive, and you will be living in unconditional love and joy and bliss in every moment. And you will be living after 6 days in bliss and joy and inner peace and fulfillment and meaning nearly all the time after just the first 6 days. And after 30 days, you will be living in that every moment. It is that amazing. And then we will be going deeper. So let me just go over how that 8-week course is. The first 6 days, I am spending 3 hours with you in a small group live on a Zoom call, 3 hours each day for the first 6 days. And we are clearing out all the false beliefs. So we're simply identifying the complete false belief, connecting to the unconditional love. And I'm working with each individual in the group to identify and ensure that you're clearing out the false belief and replacing it with an unconditional love, absolute truth that is counter to that false belief. And then you will be repeating as a mantra or affirmation, however you want to think of that, just for 10-15 minutes a day, because we need to retrain your subconsciousness as well as your consciousness, but it's the subconsciousness that gets us caught up. And it's only 10-15 minutes a day. And why affirmations and mantras have never worked for anyone before is because they just simply didn't understand what false belief they were trying to remove in themselves. They didn't identify the complete false belief. And so they were just picking something that they wanted to have or think about themselves or believe with a mantra, but it has to be specific to your false belief and what you want to create in your life. And it has to be complete as far as the answer for it to work. Otherwise, it doesn't remove the false belief. It's that simple, and it's always true. So we do that for the first 6 days, and we're going deeper into unconditional love during those first 6 days as well. And then literally the next 2 or 3 weeks, we might be removing a few remaining false beliefs, but that's nearly all gone after the first 6 days, and you really are living in unconditional love. It is that amazing. And then we go deeper into other topics, such as intuition, becoming a knowing. So by removing all those false beliefs, which really block and prevent us from connecting to truths in ourselves, to be able to identify optimal answers for every situation in our life, it is that simple. And that's why it's a struggle for most of us. So you will be learning how to go deeper in this knowing, which ensures you will make optimal decisions, the very best answer and decision in every situation in your life. And we will begin practicing that in your real life situations in the live Zoom calls with you. And it really is that amazing. And you will be living and making optimal decisions for every situation in your life. And the 12-month program is the doctorate level, I call it, of living in bliss and joy and inner peace and passions and the knowing in every way to the depths that you possibly can and as quick as you can. This is for someone that has the financial means and the time that they can commit to this 12-month program. And during the first 6 days of the 12-month program, I am live in person with you all day, each day for the first 6 days. So we are going even deeper and even quicker at removing all those false beliefs and just going deeper into your bliss and passion and joy and inner peace in every other area of unconditional love. It's that amazing. My email and my phone number are in the description area of this video and every other video. So you can contact me. And I hope that you'll contact me either by email or you can send me a text. Email is preferable, but if it's something urgent, then please do text me and I will respond to you. And I send you love, joy, and peace. Have a great day.